So I'm back after almost 3 weeks. I'm starting off with one of my favourite types of videos, reviews. As you can see from the title, I'm going to be reviewing the Cosmo buffet in St Enoch Centre. Now I know what you're thinking. Pixie, I know that you love a buffet. I know that you love your food. There's no way that this can go wrong. Well, do you know what? You would be wrong to think that, because I was so shook by my experience that I didn't make a video for 3 whole weeks thinking about it. Kidding on, I've been busy. But actually, every time I thought about this, it totally riled me up, right? And I'm trying to be a calm person. I'm trying to get rid of my anger issues. And every time I thought about this buffet, it was just bringing back flashbacks. I was practically getting PTSD for the experience. So let me just tell you how bad this was. Now, don't be expecting rats and cockroaches and mice and like slime running down the walls or anything like that. But just the whole thing was disastrous. You may already know that my favourite buffet in Glasgow is marble. So when my friend suggested that we try Cosmo, I was like, do you know what? It might be amazing, it might blow our minds. It might not be as good, right? It's probably not going to be as good. But how bad can it be? It's a buffet. So we went in at 20 to 4 and the girl on the desk says, oh, we close at 4 o'clock and we open back up at 4:30. There was nothing online about this, right? But we were like, right, okay, we'll just go away and come back. So that was fine. She just says, right, okay, go away, come back, and that was it. So when we came back, there was a bit of a queue, and then once the doors opened, like 10 minutes late, somebody started coming down with like a wee pad, and they were asking people if they had bookings, right? So I was like, see, if we don't get in here, right, I am going to go mental, because she didn't say make a booking or phone or do you want to make a booking now for later or anything. It was just go away and come back. So the guy came down and he's like, do you have a booking? And we're like, no, we were here earlier and she told us to come back. Right, fine. Carried on down the queue. So then the queue started to go in and nobody had says step to the side or it's people with bookings only or anything. Everybody was just going in. So then when we got up, the guy says, oh, do you have a booking? And we were like, no, we don't have one. And he says, oh, we're only taking people in with bookings now. And I says, well, you didn't tell us to stand to the side. You didn't tell us to make a different queue. And I did say it with an attitude. So he's like that, okay, just stand to the side there. So as the queue was coming in, he kept saying to people, oh, stand to the side, right? And I was like, he could have said to us at the time, oh, could you make a separate queue? We're taking people with bookings first. Now, I have to be very clear about this, right? I have worked in restaurants before, and I am the world's worst waitress, right? Like, I am so lenient with waiters and waitresses. Like, see if somebody comes to the table and they've not got a smile on their face and it's not 10 out of 10 customer service, I think, do you know what? I totally get it, because to me, that is the worst job I've ever had. I can't stand it. And my customer service is normally 10 out of 10, right? If a customer's being awkward, it might not be 10 out of 10, but, you know, you shouldn't treat staff like crap. So when it comes to staff working in the food industry, I'm so lenient. I'm just willing to let almost anything just go right over my head, right? But I was quite annoyed because it would have just took 2 seconds to say, can you make a separate queue? So then we waited and waited and waited, and when my friend's hungry, right, it's like either I eat now or I leave. I leave and just don't eat for the rest of the day. So I was like, I'm just trying to be like calm and like everything's going to be fine, right? So then finally the guy turned around to us and says, oh, that's everybody we're booking in. I'll see if I can find you a table. So he had his wee mic thing, and the lassie came over and he says, oh, we'll see if you can find them a table. Now he literally turned around and says, I don't know if we've got any tables, right? So at this point I was raging, but I was trying to like just act as if I was fine, because my friend was more raging than I was. So I was just trying to be like, oh no, it's fine, right, no bother. And then we stood there like just raged because they didn't even say make a booking or anything. So then the next thing, the girl comes up and she's like, oh, I found you a table, right? We're like, oh, we're going to have like a wee table, and like they found us a place, right? That was so nice of them. They took us up to the back of the restaurant. There must have been about 20 or 30 empty tables, right? A whole section. And I was like, how did they not know if they would have any tables? This whole bit's free. this whole section's free. And then when they continued to let people in who didn't have a booking, there was still tables all round us that didn't have anybody sitting at them. And I was like, what the hell? It's not as if the place has been booked up for later and the people were coming in and using up the seats, right? So we were sitting and we noticed that it said on the thing, like, pay before you're seated. And I was like, oh, we've not paid. And my friend was like, do you know what? This is their problem. Like, they've obviously not got a clue what's going on in here. The girl came up and gave us 2 glasses. Didn't say it's unlimited drinks or have you been here before or do you know how it works or anything, right? Just gave us the glasses and left. Actually, she asked us if we wanted a drink, as in like an alcoholic drink. But we weren't drinking. So she went away. And I had went up and got my food and I came back and I was like, there's no salt on this table, right? There's no salt and pepper on the table. Now, I cannot eat anything without salt, so I was like, it's fine, I'll just go and get some. I searched everywhere in this place for salt shakers and I couldn't find them, right? And then I stopped a member of staff and I says, oh, can you tell me where your salt is? And she went, oh, I don't know, I'll just go and get you some, right? Now, this is not the staff's fault, they've obviously not been trained. Not only have they not been trained properly, they've not been trained at all, right? It was shocking. So she says, I'll go and get you salt. By this point, I was circling and circling and circling, and I ended up finding a wee salt shaker. It must have been going on to 15 minutes later, right, that she came back to my table with a bowl of salt with a spoon in it. Now, bless her, she went and found me salt, right, and she didn't forget. She was probably behind there looking for salt that whole time. But she came out with a spoon in a bowl. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, oh no, it's fine, I found it, thanks, right? And I thought to myself, they should have salt and pepper at least on every single table. Having it randomly about where the staff don't even know where it is, like, that's not a big deal to some people, but I cannot eat without salt, right? So this was supposed to be on the queue, right, on the way in. It says the ultimate world buffet, and I says to my friend, do you know what? That's a big claim, the ultimate world buffet. You know what I'm like with false advertising, right? And they went, oh, you know it's not going to be the ultimate. And I like, oh, stop exaggerating, it's not going to be the ultimate. And I was like, right, fine, I'll let it go. So we went up to this ultimate world buffet, right? It was like, not even in order, there was like a bit in the middle that was Chinese food. And it wasn't even like, you know how like rices and chips and stuff, like noodles that you put onto your plate first, into dishes. It wasn't even in any real order. And then in with the Chinese bit, there was like wee mini sausages and like chicken nuggets and stuff that didn't make any sense. The salad bit was a disgrace. I had a couple of bits of sushi that was quite nice, but the overall salad bit was a joke. In fact, the whole thing was a joke. The Indian bit had like 2 Indian dishes, like 2 Indian curries, a wee bit of naan bread that was so dry, right? All the rices and all that, they were all really dry. And then they had like a roast dinner bit, and there was a guy standing carving this big massive roast, and it looked amazing. But I didn't have any because I was going somewhere and I didn't want to eat anything that would upset my stomach. But in that bit they had tatties, mashed tatties, right? So I was like, oh yeah, tatties are my favourite food. Potatoes, for anybody who's watching who doesn't know what I'm talking about. So I scooped them onto my plate, went back to my table, and it was literally smash, right? Personally, I like smash. I like to have smash with a wee bit of cheese and onion in it. But my friend was absolutely horrified. They couldn't even go over it. And it was quite dry, right? No, it was really dry. I'm going to be honest, it was really dry. But I was still eating it anyway because I like tatties no matter what. So the selection was so small. See the fact that they even had the cheek to call themselves a world buffet, never mind the ultimate world buffet, is insane, right? I can't think of even one thing that I ate that I thought, that was amazing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I need to come back here. There was nothing. But it wasn't even just the lack of selection. It was I think it was £45 for the 2 years, right? Which isn't expensive for a buffet, for an all-you-can-eat buffet. But it is expensive for an all-you-can-eat buffet when all the food tastes like crap. The selection was so minuscule. I've been to normal buffets. In fact, I went to a Chinese buffet a couple of weeks ago in Edinburgh, and it was Chinese only, right? Obviously it had like desserts and it had like salads and that. The selection was far, far, far bigger, and it was amazing. And this had the cheek. Do you know what? See that sign that's outside? They should be forced to take that down, and they should be fined for false advertising. It's an absolute joke. The staff were running about, bless them, right? It's not their fault. But they were running about like headless chickens. Literally just taking things, like taking the wee card reader thing to take payments. It's not as if they were going about like taking orders or anything, but they were running about totally stressed out their nut. And every now and then they'd come and like pick up a plate. I mean, I will say that the girl who was picking up the plates, she was there. Do you know what I mean? You were finished. It wasn't as if you had like stacks of plates for them to pick up. But there was so much staff in there running about. I still don't really know what they were all doing there. And see how like normally when you go to buffets and you'll go like that with your pasta, right? And then you drop a bit. Somebody will come, like you'll go over next time and it'll have been cleaned. There's somebody around going round cleaning. No, you were going round and there was like bits of pepperoni, like bits of pasta, everything, everywhere, and it wasn't being cleaned. And I thought, why are all these staff in here? Like, what are they actually doing? It didn't make any sense. Another thing that was highly confusing was it's called the Cosmo, right? So to me, I'm thinking Cosmo, cosmopolitan, fancy and nice, or Cosmo as in like space, right? So the decor in this place was like, you know how these shelves that you get and they're all different sizes on the wall? They had them everywhere, and they had them like in between booths and stuff. And they had like plants and pots, random crap decorating the place. And then when you were going over to the food, this was the worst thing. They had like a fake stall, like an Italian stall, right? With baskets, like rows of baskets, with all these fake carrots and onions. I still don't even know what the purpose of it was. If anything, it was just there to collect bacteria and dust, right? They would have been as well just having a bit of wall there. And as I was walking around, I was like, what is this? Do you know what I mean? What is this theme? This is a joke. I genuinely could not recommend this buffet any less. I don't think that the place was hoaching, right? I don't think it's like if you eat there you're going to leave and you're going to have food poisoning or anything. But there was nothing good. There was nothing good about it at all. The staff need trained. It's not their fault, but see whoever's in charge of that place, they need to be sacked immediately. Whatever manager is in there, or whatever team leaders, or whatever supervisor, whatever, they need to be demoted or they need to be sacked, because the whole place is an absolute disaster. And I never normally moan about staff, right? Literally, it was so bad. It was so bad. I would give it a -2 out of 10. That was how bad it was. The experience was actually depressing, to the point where I was going to review this the next day, and every time I thought about it, it was giving me anger problems. Now, I've been to buffets before that have actually been disgusting, and I could still kind of deal with it because the staff were not too bad, but the staff in there just... No. Do not go to the Cosmo, right? See if you're in Glasgow and you want to go for a buffet, a world buffet, an amazing world buffet, go to Marble. That's all I'm saying. You're not going to get any better than that. I realise that this video has turned into a total rant, right? But I haven't done a rant video for ages, and obviously this has been annoying me for weeks. Like, I went to this weeks ago and I'm just still not over it. And I keep on hearing people saying, oh, I'm going to go in and try that Cosmo. And I'm like, do not go. Do not go. Right, don't go. See if you ever listen to one thing that I've ever said in my life, it's don't go to Cosmo, because you're going to be sorely disappointed. And that's all I've got to say about that. Let me know in the comments if you've been to Cosmo and St Enoch Centre before. I pray for you, right, if you have. But see if you have, let me know in the comments what you thought. Did you think it was good? What did you think of the staff's performance? What did you think of the ultimate world buffet of Glasgow? Crap. That's my opinion, but what did you think? If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, consider subscribing. After that rant, I don't think MD will be subscribing. I think they'll be unsubscribing. Cam, I need to go and meditate. Thanks for watching. Bye.